So instruction pipelining. So yesterday actually I discussed with you what is the pipelining and what are the advantage of pipelining. For example, suppose if you are manufacturing a car, so for example, this is the time duration T, and if you are manufacturing car, and for example, to manufacture one car, a time require T1, and that after finishing one car, then you are manufacturing another car, that is car T2, and then the third car, that is T3. Okay. So at time T, how many cars you have manufactured? Three. But instead of this, and here there are three different components. Yesterday we have seen three components are there. Like you are doing painting at the end, painting, and then fitting, and you are making engine parts. So different activities are there in the different categories. So here, suppose here, if you are making a different component, you are doing fitting here, and then here painting is there. So what actually you are doing here, you are not properly utilizing all the available resources. Instead of this, if you are doing this activity by using pipelining, so you can manufacture multiple engines in a day at time t. For example, the first car you have manufactured here, and it have taken a time t1. So in pipeline, what actually we will do, as soon as your engine parts development is finished here, immediately you will start to develop an engine part for the second engine, right? And immediately when you finish your engine part here, you will start to manufacture the engine part for the third engine. By this way, here you could understand what are the advantage. So here the fitting, painting, fitting, painting, similarly fitting and painting. So to manufacture the car, this much time required, but during here you have manufactured a car, three cars in between this much time, right? So this is the advantage of pipelining. So similar kind of pipelining concept we can use in a computer. How? Suppose if you are executing one program, in one program there are multiple instructions, right? So the program is the set of multiple instructions. And again, each instruction you can derive into the multiple micro instructions. This thing we have seen. So suppose the first instruction, how actually we execute the instruction. Again, there are multiple tasks. First, you have to fetch the instruction, then interpret the instruction. It means decode the instruction. After decoding, you need to fetch the data, then process the data, and then we have to write a result into the memory, right? So all these tasks, what we can do, we can derive into a multiple task like this FI, right? FD, PD, WD. These are the multiple tasks, and we can put all these multiple tasks into the pipeline, right? Suppose you are fetching an instruction, interpreting an instruction, fetching a data, process the data, write the data. It means after executing process data, it means execution of data and to store the result. So to execute one instruction, these many steps required. So you can uh, derive all the steps, and in next pipelining, as soon as you fetch the first instruction, what you will do in another time t, you will fetch another instruction, next instruction, right? So in this way, what we can do in very less time, we can execute maximum instruction, right? So this is the advantage of pipelining. Okay. So in pipeline architecture, how actually we execute the instruction. So we'll see the first scenario here. First, you have to page the instruction. So instruction page from the memory. From memory, first we have to page the instruction. The next step is we have to decode the instruction, interpret the instruction, right? As we know, your computer can understand only the number. For example, the number is 5, and 5 meaning is, for example, add, right? In this way, the computer interpret the instruction, right? So it is interpreted, it is decoded, okay? So after decoding, what we have to do, we have to calculate the address. And then, for example, suppose after decoding, you came to know it is a branch instruction. Branch instruction is, it means for the, for example, go to, right? Or if else. So in that case, what we have to do, we have to shift the instruction. For example, if it is go to now, then we have to shift our instruction from 5 to 15, right? So it is called a branch instruction. So after decoding, we came to know it is a branch instruction or not. So suppose if it is a branch instruction, then if it is a branch instruction, what we have to do? We have to set the PC value as per the instruction. For example, go to 15. So what we have to do? We have to set the instruction address 15. Where in PC? PC is what? PC is program counter. What the PC hold? The PC hold the current instruction that the instruction will going to execute, right? So PC holding a next instruction address. So we have to set the next instruction address, the address that is you get from the branch instruction. For example, go to 15 now. So 15 we have to update in to the PC. For example, only to understand 15. Okay. So we have to update the PC. So here we have to check it is a branch instruction or not. Now let us assume it is not a branch instruction. Suppose the instruction is add A and B. So what we have to do here in the next step, we have to page the operand. Opcode is what? Opcode is add. Operand is what? A and B. So we have to fetch the value of A and value of B because we have to perform addition. Na? So we have to fetch both the value from the memory. After fetching value, you have to execute the instruction. So execute the instruction. So in instruction execution, after adding, you will get the result. You have to store the result. So everything will do at this step. Then after finishing every instruction, what uh, the processor will do, it will check is there any interrupt or not. We have seen the concept of interrupt in the first unit only. So here the execution instruction executed, then we'll check the interrupt. If it is interrupt, then again we have to handle the interrupt. How we can handle the interrupt? Obviously, whatever the instruction is there, again that instruction we have to execute. So how actually we can execute? By updating PC, program counter. Yes, because PC hold the next instruction, right? So we have updated PC and empty pipe. Why empty pipe? Because whatever the next instruction is there, that instruction we have to execute. That's why we have to make empty pipe. So it is a very simple pipeline architecture. Whatever we have discussed in first unit, how the instruction execute, what is the interrupt, what is a PC. If you know, you can very easily understood. Okay, did you understand this concept? Shall I move to the next topic? Did you understand this architecture? Okay, thank you, Snehal. Ritisha. Okay, so this is a very basic architecture, pipeline architecture. So now there are multiple stages of instruction because one stage instruction, two stage instruction, three stage instruction, four stage instruction. You can derive into the multiple stages. Like mainly what is a one stage instruction means what input is there, execute instruction, and the output. That is a one stage instruction. Two stage, fetch instruction and execute. Three stage, fetch instruction, decode instruction, and then execute instruction. Hold stage, page instruction, decode instruction, calculate operand, and then execute the instruction. So similarly, what actually we are doing, we are deriving one stage into multiple stages. So here it is a two stage. Two stage means there are two stages are there, fetch and execute. But as we have seen, if you derive one stage into the multiple, you will come to know there are multiple steps are there, right? Multiple steps are there. Even like we are saying, execute, fetch and execute. Execute it means when you can execute the instruction, first you have to decode the instruction, then you have to calculate the operand, and then you can fetch the instruction. So in execute, there are multiple steps are there, right? It is not the case for every stage, same time duration is required. Wait for 1 minute. Eh? Okay, so as okay, so as as we have discussed, to execute an instruction, there are multiple. Uh, we can derive into the multiple stages. Like we have to decode the instruction, then we have to calculate the operands. So obviously, the time duration required to execute the instruction is more than fetching, right? So here in two stages, we can understand the different time variation is there. Like here, in the next detailed view, you can understand like it in the page. So again, if you are fetching a one operand, the second operand, or fetching an instruction, it will time is required. So again, the wait is there. Many time it is discarded, and then again while you are doing executing, there are multiple fetches. First, we have to decode the instruction. We again we have to page the operand. So that's why here the new address is there. Again, you have to move to the previous step, fetching. Okay, again it for that again the time duration is required. Execute. So actually, why we are discussing here to understand in if you are deriving this instruction into multiple phases, a time is required. It will it will take a time. So in that case, a pipeline concept we can use by using a pipeline, we can execute multiple instruction in a less time. So already we have seen in the first unit this instruction execution cycle diagram. First we have to paste the instruction, then we have to calculate the first we get the instruction, we have to calculate the address. I, here we get the address, like from the PC we get the address. It is transferred to the MAR. Then based on that address, we have to paste the instruction. After pasting the instruction, then we have to decode the instruction. After decoding, some operands are required. So we have to paste the operand. Then we have to perform a data operation. After calculation, we have to store the result. So already in first unit, we have seen this cycle diagram. So mainly we are discussing about the instruction pipelining. So in one instruction, suppose if you in one program is a set of instruction. So again, one instruction there are multiple macro instruction. So multiple macro instruction you can here it is derived like this. It is a one instruction. In one instruction there are multiple macro instruction. Like FI is for fetch instruction. DI for decode instruction. CO is for calculate operand. FO is for fetch operand. EI for execute instruction, and WO is for write operand. So here, see here, suppose if we are not using pipelining, what will happen for to execute one instruction? How much time duration required? If suppose it is 1 second, so it's 6 seconds required, right? And when the next instruction will be executed from the seventh second, right? If there is no pipelining. But here, how actually we are executing instruction by using a pipelining by this way. Here the fetching task is over. Obviously, we can use this fetching instruction for the second instruction. So as soon as this task is over, immediately we can start to fetch the second instruction. Okay, second instruction page immediately. In the next time we can start to page the third instruction. Immediately we can, in the next time duration, we can start to page the fourth instruction, right? So and so forth, the instruction will be executed. So in six time duration, here you could see how many instructions are executed. So partially you will find there are multiple work we have done during this period. See, and this is a major advantage of pipelining, right? So here in this program, if suppose there are 9 instructions are there, so one after another, all instructions are executed. But what about if there is a branch statement is there, like go to statement is there, if else is there, right? So in that case, actually, the the instruction will change. From the fifth instruction, your instruction may switch to the 15th instruction because of the go to statement is there, right? So based on the branch instruction, it may happen sometime we have to change our instruction from 5th to 50, 15, right? So in that case, this is another instruction pipeline diagram in which you can understand. For example, here we have started to execute the instruction 1. So fetch instruction, decode instruction, right? Calculate operand, fetch operand, executing instruction, and write operand. It means write operand means to write a result. So we have utilized this part here. So within this 6 seconds, we have executed multiple partial instruction. Like here, fetch instruction, decode instruction, right? We reach here, then third, and then fourth. Okay. So here, fetching instruction, decoding instruction, and here we came to know actually, after decoding, we came to know there is a branch instruction, right? There is a branch instruction. So because of the branch instruction, the next instruction would be the 15th instruction, as we have discussed earlier. So that's why here you will find these are the partial instructions that are not executed because here we came to know there is a branch instruction and we have to switch from 3 to 15. So at the 15th instruction is executed. And here you can understand this is a branch penalty is there. It means these instructions are not executed. This, for this instruction, we did not reach till the end. That write the result, write operand. Right? Partially, all the instructions are incomplete. Hmm? So this is a branch penalty. So when this situation can be occur if there is a branch statement is there, like go to third to 15. So it is jump is there right now. So this is the effect of conditional branch on instruction pipelining operation. So this is the effect, and this is the penalty is there. It means the wastage of time, wastage of resources, right? But by this way, actually, even though we'll get the more performance, better performance in pipelining rather than sequential execution. Okay. So did you understand this pipelining concept? Kindly do acknowledge. Okay. Thank you, Ritisha. Okay, so the last topic, Flynn's classification or multiprocessing, multi-programming. This is the last topic. So this Flynn's classification. In 1966, Flynn's proposed or classified computer architecture into four types. So that's why this concept is also called as Flynn's classification. Similarly, the multiple types of classifications are available, like Fong's classification, then Handler's classification. Like here, we'll see the different types of classification in Flynn's are like SISD, SIMD, MISD, MIMD. Similarly, in Fong's classification, the classifications are WSBS, WPBS. In the handler's classification, there is a PCU, ALU, BLC. So based on uh, the classification type, their naming is different. But in US syllabus, there is a Flynn's classification. So we'll discuss about the Flynn's classification. So this classification has been used as a tool in the design of modern processor and their functionalities. So you can easily identify any computer by using Flynn's classification, right? Based on the computer processor functionality, the naming is given or it is derived into a different classes. So due to this Flynn's classification, the multiprocessing and multiprogramming concept has evolved, right? So from the one human machine that we have discussed in unit number one, from that machine to today's computer, you will find there is a big evolution is there, right? So the things can you can classify all these computer from one human machine to today's latest computer. You can classify all these machines by using Flynn's classification. So this Flynn's classified the system into four types, and it is based on the number of concurrent instruction stream and data stream available in the architecture. So your classification is based on the two type only. The first one is instruction and the second one is data. How many instructions you are using? So at the time, how many instructions you are executing and how many different types of data you are using in the execution. Based on these two condition only, you can classify. So here is it is a very simple concept. Simply you have to remember this diagram. Simply this by remembering the only the four names, you can easily explain the concept. Okay, so SISD. SISD it means a single instruction, a single data. Single instruction, single data. What it means? How many instructions are executing at a time over there? A single. And how many different types of data is there? A single. So single instruction and a single data. Second one is a multiple instruction, single data. Now here multiple instructions are there, but all the multiple instructions using a same data. That's why the multiple instructions, same data. Single instruction, multiple data. Now this is a third type of processor where the instruction is same, single instruction is there, but the data is different type. So this example is a vector processor, fine grained data, parallel computers belongs to this SIMD. MISD here may be the pipeline computers. Multiple instructions are there, so it may be the pipeline computer. And MIMD, like multiple instruction, multiple data. So multi-computers, multi-processor, these are the types of MIMD. Okay. So single instruction, single data, multiple instruction, single data, single instruction, multiple data, and multiple instruction, multiple data. Okay. Now here in detail we'll discuss about the all the four types. Okay. So before to discuss this diagram, first we'll discuss about this short form like IS. IS is what? IS is instruction stream. IS is instruction stream. DS is what? DS is data stream. MM is what? Memory module. SM is what? Shared memory. CU is control unit. PU is processor unit. Okay. So this diagram is very simple. Just if you could remember the name, you can easily explain all these four types. Single instruction, single data. So the name is single instruction, single data. Obviously, this kind of computer, how many instruction you can execute at the same time? One instruction. And how many different types of data? Only one. So here you will find there is a control unit is there. The control unit actually decode the instruction and provided it to PU, that is processor unit. Hmm. So this control unit is decoding an instruction and providing to the PU, processor unit. What it is providing? IS. IS is what? For instruction stream. And from where actually getting an instruction stream? From the memory. So memory module. It is taking from the memory module. How many instruction? One instruction. How many types of data? One. So here you will find both the direction. It means it is taking a data and at PU got the decoded instruction from the CU, that is control unit. Then PU execute the instruction, and after executing instruction, this PU processor unit stores data into the memory module. So here you will find the direction is a bidirectional. Why the bidirectional? First you are, for example, we consider the example is the instruction is for example add or for example to increment. Hmm. So increment a plus plus. for example, so A plus plus. So it is decoded. So it is the increment instruction. So it is given to the PU. Okay. So a PU. So what is the A? So again, it requires the data, na? So A from the MM you will get the value of A, right? And then PU increment the instruction A plus plus. So for example, it got the value that is 5 plus plus that is 6. So this 6 value again will store into the memory. So that's why the bidirectional. First the 5 value is taken and then 6 value it is stored into the memory. So that's why here bidirectional is there. So it is the SISD, single instruction, single data. So again, this type of computer having a two type. One is functional, one functional unit and multiple functional unit. So IBM 70701, IBM 1620 are the example of one functional unit. And multiple functional unit, IBM 36091, CDC 6600. These are the example of multiple function unit. Both are the type of SISD, single instruction, single data computer. So by looking this diagram, you can easily understand the single instruction and single data. Wait a minute. Pani Padil sir? Yeah, headphone. Why is coming? So where headphone? Sir? Okay. Okay, please check Rishika. Now the voice is louder compared to earlier. Actually, today I am using another headphone. Now check. Now it is good. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. Last 15-20 minutes are remaining. Okay, so single instruction, single data. The next one is single instruction, multiple data computer. So it is very simple. Just simply by remembering this name, now you can easily remember the concept. Single instruction, multiple data. So how many instructions are there? A single instruction. So from the memory only you will get the instruction as well as data. So this is a memory module is there. So this is from the memory module, instruction is taken. IS is instruction stream and it is given to the control unit. What the control unit will do, the control unit decode the instruction. Okay. And the multiple data is there. So here you could see in data stream DS1, DS2, DS3, it means multiple data. So multiple data it is taken from the memory module. And instruction is one. So here from only the one instruction. So single instruction, multiple data. PU is what? PU is processor unit. Okay. So this processor unit taking a single instruction and executing on multiple data. So you can understand, for example, your instruction is add. Add is the instruction. So add instruction is the same, but you are performing operation on AB. Add instruction is same. And again, for example, CD, add instruction is same. And we're performing operation on EF. Now in this example, what we can understand, the instruction is single instruction because always you are using the same instruction that is add, but your data vary that is AB, CD, EF. So multiple data, but the instruction is same. So every PU1, PU2, PU3 executing a same instruction, executing a same instruction, but on the multiple data. So actually, this kind of again, this kind of computer is used for the specific purpose for the scientific computing. Actually, this kind of computer is required. So if the computer is there, who is using a single instruction and executing on multiple data, at that time we can say it is a SIMD computer. It is designed for the specific purpose. Okay. Okay. The next one is MISD. MISD for the multiple instruction, single data. MISD, multiple instruction and single data. Now you can easily understand this diagram by the name only. multiple instructions. So multiple instructions. So here you could check IS1, IS2 up to ISN. So multiple instructions, different instructions are given to the CU control unit to decode the instruction, right? IS1, IS2, IS3. So different instruction. So because the name is multiple instruction. So multiple instructions are provided to a different control unit. But the data is single data. Single data means only the one type of data. So see here, data stream, only one data stream. One single data is provided to the PU1. What the PU1 is doing? PU1 is calculating and then whatever the result is there which is providing to the PU2. Then what the PU2 will do, again PU2 calculate the result and provide it to the PU3. And finally, whatever the answer is there, that will be stored into the memory. So you will find from PU3 to the memory unit, the data stream connection is there. So whatever the result is there, which will be stored here. For example, if you want to perform an operation like a sin x, cos x, tan x, so what actually we are doing? We are using different types of instruction. Sin x, one instruction, again cos x, another instruction, tan x, another instruction. But x is what? X is the same, na? Right? So data is the same. That's why multiple instruction and single data. So this is MISD computer where multiple instruction we are using, but the data is the same. After performing, the PU is performing operation and providing result to the PU2, processing unit 2, then PU processing unit 2 to processing unit 3. And finally, whatever the last one is there, which the result will be stored into the memory. And the last one is that is MIMD. We have seen multiple processor, right? Belongs to this MIMD. Multiple instruction, multiple data, right? So obviously here you will find there is a multiple instructions are there, IS1, IS2, right? At the same time, there is a multiple types of data is there, DS1, DS2, DS up to DSM. Similarly, IS1, IS2 up to ISM. So from the memory module, there are multiple instructions are providing to a different control unit as well as a data stream, a separate data stream is provided to a different PU. Again, it is a bidirectional. What is why it is bidirectional? Anyone? Kindly to acknowledge in chat box why this line is a bidirectional.